Hey, good morning. Happy May. We're starting a new program today. We're going to call it May Move Month. So this month is going to be, it's not going to make any difference to you guys. Same stuff, different name, but I really want to get more people moving this month. That's my focus of the month, is to get as many people as we can to join us and start moving their bodies more and start moving their bodies for, the right reasons, as we always talk about. Hey, Betty. Having said that, today's going to be a gentle session because I actually felt worse yesterday than I did Sunday. And today I was feeling, I'm tired. You guys, I'm tired. But anyways, I need to move my body. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that regardless of whether you're feeling good, whether you're feeling energetic and you're kind of like wanting to take on the movement, or whether you're feeling, it's almost like the less we move our bodies, the worse we feel. And that's kind of what I want to get across to people, is when you want to move the least, like that's sometimes when you need to move the most. And this morning, my mind was telling me, cancel, like I'm tired, I'm sore. I didn't do my yoga yesterday. I was kind of a couch. I got a lot of work done from the couch, but it was a day that I did run actually yesterday, but it's just like that we know, because we've reprogrammed our mind to say, no, you're wrong. I need to move right now. But most people don't understand that. Like most people think, oh, I'm sore, I'm tired. 9 times out of 10, when you think that you shouldn't move, you should move. Like your body always feels better if you can move it. Choosing the right movement is key, right? Like, if you're, like, let's say you're starting, on that note, as we get going, first round of warm-up is always low, no impact. You might want to carry this pace, this effort through the entire session. I'm going to try to increase effort or increase intensity with each of the rounds of our warm-up. We do 3. And if that's right for you, that's great. So listen to your body. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is, there's going to be times where you feel great and you can really kind of pour it on. You can really, dive in to those workouts, those move sessions. You can push yourself and feel really empowered by it. And then there's other times you need movement for therapy, right? Like movement is medicine, is one of my favorite sayings. So it's like when your body feels sore or stiff or immobile, you're fatigued, whatever those things are. And sometimes we feel that because we've done a long road trip, or we've had a really hard, stressful work day. Or maybe you played in a softball tournament over the weekend and you haven't done that for a while in your body. And when your body's feeling like that, that's when it actually needs movement, because what happens is if you just kind of rest it in a static position, it stiffens. And I find the little kind of nuances in your body, like maybe one hip is tighter than the other, or maybe one shoulder is a little bit more worked than the other. Those things exacerbate when we don't move. So I always like to start our sessions by saying, take a kind of an audit. How's your body feeling today? Where are those little nuances that you're feeling in your body today? And how can you improve those or help those and not resist or avoid them, right? And that takes experience to realize that, my husband's always complaining about this one kid on my son's baseball team. My husband coaches. And he said, he's such a suck. Every time something hurts, he doesn't want to do something. Well, that's what your body, or that's what your mind tells you. Your mind tells you, oh, you have a sore foot. You should stay off it, baby it. Unless there are definitely times. So I'm very slow moving today. I can feel I can't really hop too well. My foot's a little stiff. And that used to be me. I used to say, oh, if something hurts, I need to immobilize it, so to speak. And there are times, you know, if you've sprained your foot like I did in November, that was an instance that I needed to completely rest it, right? Stay off of it. Although it still required movement. Like my physiotherapist said, write the alphabet with your foot, right? So no weight bearing stuff, but it still needs to be moved because it gets kind of locked up if it just stays in that spot. So as we get started, pay attention to where you might be feeling whatever you're feeling today, if anything, and then lean into that positively, right? Oh, my heart rate is really high today. And that's what happens when you're tired, run down. Your heart rate will tell you, no, slow it down. So I think it's a matter of learning to listen to the body, test it, right? Like, hey, you're telling me this. How does this feel? Test it. And then sometimes when you test it, like I knew canceling today was not going to do me any favors. And I knew if I get in here and move my body and go light and get some range of motion back, that's going to do me way better. So here I am. Here we are. And I share that with you because I want you to learn to see movement, see exercise, see working out, whatever you want to call it, as something that you do for yourself, not as punishment against yourself, right? You do it as self-care. I listened to the most amazing podcast. I've actually listened to it 3 times now. I may have shared it in this group. I can't remember because I think I listened to it last week. And then I listened to it. It's an Ed Milet podcast and it's called Success. I forget what it's called. But anyways, oh my gosh, so many amazing life lessons in that podcast. I should post it in the group for you all to listen to. I sent it to my coaching group of ladies that it's funny, this group started out as a weight loss coaching program that I developed. It's kind of turned into more of like a life coaching program, which those of you know me know that's probably totally my jam. But I shared it with them, we discussed it last night, and it's funny how we all hear different things when we listen to something. We hear what we need to hear at that given moment. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I'm so happy it's May. I had a great weekend. My adventure went well. So adventure number 1 is I slept in my truck. I've never done that. I've always been curious to do that. You know, if I was ever given a circumstance that called for it. And it was very cold at night. By very cold, I mean, I think it was below 0 the first night. And when we got there, so my friend that I went up there with, Betty, I drove through Parry Sound, kinda. I didn't realize that's where Parry Sound was. I had no idea where Parry Sound was. I think Dawn's from up there too. Dawn Purdon. Beautiful. You can see why you have a cottage up there and why you're there, although you're probably there now. The rest of the people I was with were staying in a yurt. And in my mind, a yurt was just like a platform with a tent on it outside. And I thought, first of all, that's stressful to stay in a tent with a bunch of people that I don't know, like who's gonna snore. And I like my own space. I'm an introvert, you guys, believe it or not. I know nobody believes me when I say that, but I really am an introvert. So I decided, well, I think it's probably probably way more comfortable just to sleep in my truck, so I'm gonna sleep in my truck. And we get there, and my idea of what a yurt looked like was completely wrong. It was very cozy looking. It had bunk beds in it, and it had a heater. And I thought, wow, that serves me right. I really blew that choice. But no, I didn't, because I need my own space. I wouldn't have slept at all in there there was 4 people in there. So no, I did, and I slept really well. I was actually very warm in my truck, in my sleeping bag. The problem is when you wake up in the morning and you can feel on your face how cold it is, and you're like, the last thing I wanted to do is get out of that sleeping bag and get ready to go run. And I was planning on wearing shorts, and I was like, there's no way. And of course it was really warm in the afternoon, and I would have loved to have my shorts on at that point, but I didn't know what about you guys, sorry. So we're gonna do Tabata today, and like I said, I'm gonna probably not use weights today. So for those of you who are, rested from the weekend, good morning, Yvonne. I encourage you to use weights as per normal. We're doing legs. I was gonna not do legs today, but I thought, you know what? My legs need movement. That's the thing. My legs need to heal through active recovery, it's called. So I'm just not gonna use weights. And so if you're brand new, you can basically do what I'm doing today. And if you've been around for a while, you've been doing these workouts for a while, use the weights as normal. We're gonna start with step ups, alternating sides. As our first round, we're doing Tabata. I am all good to go. All right, here's the thing I keep remembering to myself. You know what? I'm a little tired today, but I'm not gonna use weights. All right, let's go. So we're gonna do one side at a time. So up. I gotta tell you guys, all these step ups, all this leg work that I've been doing, oh my gosh, my legs felt amazing out there. I was climbing, I'm gonna have a little brag moment here. I was climbing like a boss still at the end. The challenge I had was coming down the really technical, difficult, rocky terrain. That's what I struggled with. But my legs were strong. They're tired, they're sorer than I thought they were. I ran last night, did not feel good. It was probably a mistake. I shouldn't have ran last night. But yeah, I can't believe, I thought to myself, we are on the right track with these leg workouts that we've been doing. And we're gonna add in the bands on Thursdays to strengthen the hips, inner and outer thighs. The kind of effort that it was, I don't know if any of you saw my videos, but we were bouldering, climbing up stuff like this. So really using your full body, it wasn't like running. It was very physical, I would say. The hills were, some of them quite steep, quite technical and difficult terrain. And what we've been doing in here and what I've been doing on the trail seems to have prepped me really well so we are on the right track, ladies. That's all I gotta say. So I really enjoyed sleeping in my truck. It was super cozy. I always say, anybody who knows me, love my truck. I said, if I was super rich and can choose any vehicle I wanted, I would choose my truck. I love my truck. I love the tailgate of a pickup truck being like a room. It's like a room. So I have all my stuff back there. I could cook and organize and use my tailgate as a shelf. You know, I have in the past used the box of my truck as like a deck. Just sat in a patio chair back there. I now know that I can sleep in it. It has some luxury to it. It has leather seats and, you know, hot and cold seat warmers. And my favorite though, aside from, you know, the heated seats and heated steering wheel, I use the heated steering wheel all the time, is the sunroof or whatever. I think that's what it's called. Like it's all window on the top, on the roof. And so I laid there, I could look at the stars, and of course when you're Betty, you know, up there, the stars are just insane because there's no like human lights and stuff like interfering with the sky. Oh, it was just amazing. I love my truck. So I slept well the first night, actually, surprisingly. Did not sleep well the second night, which you'd think. I thought, I was stressed the first night because I was like, oh my God, I need to get to sleep, I need to get to sleep. I just assumed I wasn't going to sleep. So I just laid there, relaxed, got comfortable, and I love my watch because my watch tells me, because I actually didn't think I slept, but you know when you're sleeping but your dreaming feels like you're awake? That's the kind of sleep I had. So when I looked at my watch the next morning, it said that I actually had almost 6 hours. And I thought, even if the watch is wrong, like even if it's inaccurate, so don't anyone type in the comments, oh, those watches aren't very accurate. Don't tell me that. I'll just take the placebo that I slept well, because mentally, I didn't feel like I didn't sleep though. I did feel like I slept. So I slept great. The second night I thought, I'm super tired. My nerves are gone, like I'm done now. I should sleep like a champ. No, I slept like garbage the second night, like absolute garbage. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do front lunges and side lunges for the next set. I'm gonna change this.
Completed.
Okay, so are you ready? So like I said, you guys can use weights. I'm doing front lunges. If you want to challenge yourself, you can do back lunges. Back lunges are going to challenge your balance a little bit more, and they're going to challenge your quads. I'm not interested in that today. I'm more interested in range of motion. So we're alternating sides. I'm interested in range of motion for my hips, range of motion for my feet, and just using body weight today. Okay, so the next one, these sometimes make us sore, but I love these for range of motion and restoring it. So we're doing side. So you can have a weight if you want. What you want to keep in mind is you want your chest upright, so boobs are out. I find to encourage that, I like to hold my hands behind my head. Now, if you have bad knees, this is an option as well. Just a side, step into a side squat. This is perfect too, because we're starting a new program called May Move Month. And my goal is to get more people joining us. And so it's good that we're starting with a nice kind of not too difficult one. Now remember, you might be sitting at home thinking, if you're new to these, I don't have a step like that. I don't have something fancy like that. You don't need a step like that. Here's one option that you can do with no step. Okay, you can do side steps. If you're brand new, you can use your stairs at home. What am I doing? Side. You can use, when I teach workouts and I'm on the road, I use my cooler. So I have a nice sturdy, what do they call them? It's a Yeti, but not a cooler on wheels. That is not a good thing to step up on. You can use like a sturdy chair or coffee table that's like solid that you can step up on. You can use a bench if you have one. So anything, get creative, but worst case, like I said, modify anything. Yes, The workouts that I design have purpose and they have strategy behind them. Like I said, what we've been doing has done a good job. I felt really good about how well my legs held up and my body in general from doing full body, right? Like, you know, people think, oh, running's not that much upper body. The kind of running I do definitely is, but the thing is, having a balanced body that's strong head to toe is always going to be an advantage no matter what your sport is, if you have one, or if you don't have a sport, life, right? Lacking upper body strength and having an abundance of lower body strength is imbalance, right? So you can do your legs a favor by improving your upper body strength, your core strength, also your mobility. So we did this move in yoga this morning. I, with the lady on the app, that I really liked. I love that every time we do it, I'm introduced to some kind, and I've done yoga before, like yoga isn't something new to me, but to these new positions that I really like. But it's just about, if you go out into the world to do your grocery shopping, to watch your kids' baseball game, right, to, I don't know, whatever you're doing out in the world, and you have imbalances, right? Like you're like, this hip's tight, this shoulder's tight, this foot's a little bit bound up. Is that it? Yep, that's it. The things that you do, that's where we get injured, right? Like we think it was that thing, but there was a condition prior to that just kind of was exacerbated, right? So for me, going into this endeavor and some of the other endeavors I have planned for the summer, the endeavor itself could, you know, cause I don't want to say injury, but stress and fatigue, right? To go in without existing kind of ailments ready to go at any given time. Does that make sense? Is advantageous, and that's what we try to do in here. That's what I try to do. So if you need to change anything I'm doing, it's not the end of the world. You're not like completely missing out on whatever. So if you don't have a step and you have to do, you can substitute with these. There's so many substitutions for anything that you aren't able to do if you need to. So don't ever let that get in your head. And for goodness sake, don't let that prevent you from coming back. Okay, we're gonna do these guys next, which might about kill me, but let's give them a go. So you might be using a weight, but you're 747s. You're gonna hinge forward. These are actually easier in a sense with a weight. Okay, so see, here's another modification. You can hold on to something for balance. I have an extreme tightness right here, and that is what's causing the problem on that side. So we're gonna do the other side, see if that's any better. Now, if you're holding a weight, you wanna hold it in front, and you wanna bring it down and lift it up. But for today, what I'm trying to do is just get the motion happening again. See, I'm fine on this side. This butt has a great big knot right here that I thought I had worked out, but when I ran yesterday, it reappeared. There we go. So if you have a weight, so what you want to do is make sure this hind leg is coming up. So these are great for balance, working on the feet, foot strength, which is something that I really need to do. That was definitely my weakness out there, was my foot and ankle strength and elasticity. There is none. Do you guys, okay, I gotta throw this out. Do any of you, okay, let's say you just got up in the morning. I have a 2-level house, so my bedroom's on the 2nd level. I have to come downstairs. Are any of you able to get up in the morning and come downstairs and not hold on to the railing? That sounds like a crazy question, but I notice I cannot. When did that happen in my life? That I can't go down the stairs without holding onto a railing. And of course, when you're out in nature, there are some descents that, you know, have nature's railings. They have rocks and trees to hang onto, but there's a couple spots where I was like, I need a railing. Because of age, we stiffen and our joints just tighten up, and we don't have, like, do you remember, I don't really remember this, but a time when you could skip down the stairs? I can't imagine skipping down any stairs at this point. Not the stairs in my house anyways. Of course, I don't have my stairs are hardwood, and all I keep thinking is of slipping. But I'm just saying, like, that's hard for me. I can't do that anymore. Okay, other side. If you have your bands handy, the next move we're going to do would be a good one to use them for. I'm not going to use bands. Look at this, eh? Just terrible. I think that was it. No, one more. Oh yes, that's the butt. One more side. So, I'm going to share with you, and I might have shared this with you last week when I listened to this podcast. I would love to get this tattooed on my arm because it resonated with me so tremendously, and I used it a number of times when I was out on the trail on Saturday, and I got to points where, and this is life, you guys, this is life, where you're working towards something, you're working on something. So whether it's a work project, a promotion, whether it's maybe a home renovation, whatever, maybe it's your golf swing, like whatever it is that you're working on, maybe it's your running speed. There's times when you doubt yourself. There's times when you think it's impossible. There's times when whatever you're doing feels hard, and when it feels hard, you start to project that into what the outcome is going to look like, right? So like for me, let's say my hip was hurting. Well, my hip hurts now. How's it going to feel in an hour? And we do this, right? Instead of saying my hip might actually not hurt anymore in an hour. Stop. How long is this? You know, we call them in running the lows. Okay, so we're going to be on all fours, and we're going to do hydrants. So if you want to use your bands, you're going to want to put them around just above your knee. Okay, so let's go. So you're lifting. Now, here's the key with this one. I want you to make sure your hip bones stay facing down. Okay, so you're not doing this. You're just lifting that leg. If you're using your bands, your movement might be smaller than mine because you have that resistance. Okay, so you should really feel these in your core. So I want you to pull that belly button in and stabilize your hips and focus on that being the source of sort of tension and contraction, and the leg just sort of swinging. So we're going to count this as part of our 100 core today. So the saying was outlast the temporary. And it just, you know, it's not like we haven't heard things like that before, like this too shall pass is another great way of saying it. This too shall pass, outlast the temporary. So he talks about everything in life, every single thing is not permanent. Nothing is permanent in life, right? Your looks are not permanent in life. We talk about this a lot in here. If you're motivated by your looks, it's superficial because your looks, you're not going to have your looks forever, or what you look like, right? So if your motivation is external, it's going to fail you at some point. which is something else he talks about later in the podcast, motivation versus inspiration, which is another concept that I absolutely loved. But outlast the temporary. So whatever you're going through right now, if it's difficult and challenging, it's not going to last. It's going to pass. And that can apply to your set of squats in the gym. Oh my gosh, or you're doing burpees and you're like, holy crap, I'm dying right now. But they're not going to last forever. You're not doing burpees forever. You're doing burpees for a minute or 45 seconds or whatever it is you're doing. Outlast the temporary. And for me, for some reason, those words brought like this calm over me, like, because I realized all I have to do is just be patient and wait, because whatever it is going to pass, right? A job that you hate, you're not going to be in that job forever. Outlast the temporary. So understand that nothing in life is permanent, and so therefore you're never truly stuck, and you're never truly doomed, because that circumstance is not going to last forever. And so I just love that. So there was a few times out there where I just wanted to be done. I just wanted to be done so badly. And that causes anxiety and it causes impatience, right? And impatience, like, you know how time slows to like a horrible crawl when you're waiting for something to be done, or for something to come, right? Like, it's like the vacation that you're looking for, comes so slowly, and then when you go on your vacation, it's like a blink and it's over. Time is so relative to our mindset. And so I had to just say, this is the moment you're in right now. Like, wishing for it to be over, wishing for the future makes it seem longer. And so just outlast the temporary. That's all you have to do, is outlast this moment, and then outlast the next moment. And if you just compound that. Anyways, it really kind of stuck with me. Okay, we're gonna finish with some core. So we're gonna do some bicycles and leg lifts. And then we're gonna do some bird dogs and dead bugs. And I didn't count, so I'm not sure where we were at for core, but what did I say? Bicycles and leg lifts. All right, let's go. So bicycles. So another thing that I really liked was he talked about the difference between motivation and inspiration. And it got me thinking that he said when we do stuff because we're motivated by stuff, right? Like, so let's say you're working out and you're motivated to fit into a dress, right? Or you're motivated to move that number on the scale. You're motivated by something out external, right? And inspiration, when you're feeling inspired to do something, that's internal, because inspired, the word inspired is a derivative or derived from in spirit. So when you're motivated, I thought it's like outside yourself. So let's say you have a goal, right? Your goal is to stop drinking wine. Your goal is to stop drinking wine. You're motivated to stop drinking wine because you want to lose weight, you want better sleep, you want your trade. This is me. Just talking about it. Says my friend said. No, so this is why I'm motivated to stop drinking wine, because I want my running to go better. I want to sleep better. I want to recover better. I want to drop, some pounds, and lean out, and I want to feel better. I want to have better energy. So those are motivations. When the moment comes to decide, right, where you're tested, the moment comes where you're like, oh, I want wine, right? You want wine Your desire for the thing is emotional. We are moved by our emotions and feelings. We don't make decisions based on logic and motivation. We make decisions based on emotions and feelings. So what we do is we have an idea spurred by our emotions and feelings, and then we look for things to prove that yes, that's okay. So I have, 3 kids, and I need a new car, and logically I need a minivan, but I want a sports car. And so emotionally and through my feelings, I want that sports car. So I'm going to find ways to justify the sports car versus my logic saying no, right? So those feelings are always more powerful. So when it comes down to make that decision, right, I have to do my iron will today. Why am I motivated to do my iron will? Well, because I said I was going to in the group, and because I committed to myself, blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to get off this couch right now. I'm super comfortable. My feelings and emotions are going to start to create stories to justify not doing it, and that's what's going to win. So your spirit will always, inspiration will beat motivation every single time. So the trick is you have to do things in spirit, not without spirit, whatever the opposite is. And that's what I'm always sort of talking about, is that your mind has to be on board, and if your mind is not, your thoughts and your feelings and your subconscious and your spirit, I messed that up. I was supposed to do like this there, but I don't really care. I did an extra set of bicycles. So that's okay if you did it right, and if you did it wrong and followed me, that's okay too. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but basically what I'm saying is, like, you have to understand the way you're wired, and then you have to work with that. It's like, you can't like put diesel into your vehicle that takes whatever the other kind of gas is called, right? Even if you really want to. And even if it was cheaper, which it's not, it's more expensive. Okay, so diesel people, you can't put the other gas in just because it's cheaper, right? It's not wired that way. So you have to work with the way that you're wired, not work against. And I think that's like the most common mistake we all make, or I see people make, is they know logically what they have to do.
Completed.
This is the way of the world. Okay. So this is dead bug. And you can do this with bands. You can have a band around your knees if you're ready for that, like if you're advanced enough to do that. What I hear more common than anything is, I know what to do, I can't get myself to do it. And then how do you feel about that? Well, you feel like a failure, you're ashamed of yourself, you're embarrassed, right? Because you're like, I know what I need to do. We all do. Most of us think we need to, like, we convince ourselves we need to, if I could find the right diet, if I could find the right exercise, if I wasn't such a loser and could get myself to do the things I know I should do, I could get to where I want to go. Why? Well, what we don't understand is we're not wired that way, so that's why it doesn't work. It's not because we're a loser. It's not because we're a terrible person. It's not because we have no will or no willpower. It's because we're working against ourselves. So I think if you want to move yourself towards something that logically you know you want to do, you're motivated to do it, you need to find a way to do it with inspiration, not motivation. Inspiration in spirit. So you need to figure out why you want to do that, right? And you need to grow and foster and I can't even think today, you guys. Develop. I'm just thinking of a garden, right? Like those feelings and emotions. So I have worked on my mind being more interested and having more desire for the things that not having wine brings me than the opposite. And so that's how I've been able to move myself to do something that, you know, in ways I don't want to do, but truthfully deep down I do. Because I've attached spirit or inspiration. Like, I have made the one thing more important than the other. In spirit, not in logic. I don't know if I'm making any sense, you guys. I'm sorry if I'm not. It makes sense in my head. So really straighten that leg out back, squeeze that glute. So slightly gentler suction today, although if you were using weights, especially for the step ups and you still may. You know, often those side lunges that we do in the 747s, we end up with sore butts, so. The other thing he talks a lot about, and this is a conversation for another time, this is a loaded one, is we have what's called an emotional home. So we are moved towards familiarity, not necessarily the circumstances we want. Familiarity trumps all else. Like, so if you're familiar with anxiety and stress, fear, negativity, until you break that cycle, you're always going to be drawn, until you're aware of the cycle, you're always going to be drawn to it because it's familiar. Which is crazy because it's like, even though, I'll use the wine example again, even though I feel better, without it, there's a familiarity that I'm drawn to, right? And so it's very easy to fall back into those old patterns, even when it's like bad relationships, right? Or bad jobs. Oh, well, I've never been happy at my job, so that's familiar. I'm good with that. It doesn't matter that I'm unhappy. Anyway, that's a loaded topic, but thank you all so much for joining me today. Welcome to May Move Month. You guys can look forward to some fun things this month, hopefully, that we can all do virtually or in person. Have an awesome day, and I will see you all tomorrow.